Welcome to the video. We're in Sydney, Australia, and on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to show you deals on wheels. This is amazing. The price. I mean, this bike would have been maybe $15,000 back in this day. Now the prices in this video are Australian dollars, and just wanted to give a heads up if I do your advert in here and I critique it. It's nothing personal, so don't take offense. I'm just being honest and real here, not trying to razzle anyone. Anyway, the first up, we're going to look 695 Di2 Dura. Looks in really good condition. Now, any carbon bike, you want to give it an extensive check for any cracks or clamping crunches or something like that. You want to drop the fork out and check for the ring of death. If you don't know what the ring of death is, you should know. Watch my other videos about the carbon forks ring of death. It goes for any fork, steel, carbon, alloy. You want to make sure there's no damage to the fork because it's hidden and it can't be viewed just by looking at it. You've got to drop it out and have an inspection. This is a Di2 10 speed. It looks in fair condition. So they're chasing $3,000 for it. $3,000. How much will it sell for? I reckon if it gets $1,500, it'll be lucky because it's Look in 2021. Even though it's a great brand with this proprietary stuff. Once you've got proprietary parts on your bike, you lose massive resale market value. Because I'm a bike mechanic myself, and I look at these parts and I'm thinking, oh, what if you lose a chainring bolt? What's the headset spacer going on? What sort of stem is that? It's just a total nightmare. The seat clamp it's just, you can really struggle. So if you're ever going to buy a bike with resale in mind, avoid proprietary parts. Because in a couple of years' time, it can be hard to get them. This is one here. This is $1,900 Aussie. It's almost brand new. This is, again, probably a $12,000 bike back in its day. It would be a 2011 model, and it's a high mod Cannondale Super 6. Fantastic riding bike. This bike would ride very nice. Look at that clean that Gen 1 SRAM Red 10-speed cassette is. It's got some DT Swiss wheels. It could even be the first Gen 1 Chasseral. Yes, it's in mint condition. It's got the titanium TRP brakes on there. So it comes with, so this person's just getting out of cycle. So this would be a killer deal for anyone. This bike wouldn't even have the ring of death on it because it's just hardly been ridden. It's been hardly ridden. I'd still drop it out and want to check anyway. $1,900. It's probably going to sell for maybe $1,000 to $1,200. But at $1,900, very fair price. It's 60 centimeters. It's 10 years old. It's just going to be a hard bike to sell. And it's been listed for how long? It's been listed for a while. I've got a BH Ultralight. This bike, they say it's brand new, or near new, never been ridden. Near new, never been ridden. Maybe it's been parked, but it's in mint condition. They asked for $3,000. It's got 10-speed Dura 7800 on it. So they're asking for $2,000. It's not going to get $2,000. It's going to maybe get $500. A nice bike, but very dated, in mint condition. Check for the ring of death always. Pretty much, just to be sure. I mean, just to be sure. It's a 5-minute job. To drop a fork out of a non-proprietary bike, it's a 5, 6, 7-minute job. For that peace of mind for the customer and the seller and the user. So this bike probably going to get $500, maybe $2,000. Not a chance. Here we've got a nil Pryde Bura. This comes out of the same Chinese factory I use for one of my OEM frames. Nice bike. These ride really nice. It's got the rotor cranks in there, not too bad. It looks to be in good condition. It's got some, looks like some Ultegra wheels on there. It was 1620 down to 1420. Again, nil Pryde. Like, I know it's a nice bike. I know it rides nice, but people like me wouldn't pay that much for a bike. I think this bike, if I was going to buy it, I'd probably give him $700, because I know that resale value is very, very small. Even though it's a fantastic riding bike, it just doesn't have the resale value. Like, if you gave me an iPhone 6, I could make, a lot of money on that, not by flipping it, by using it and, and creating content on that. But what's an iPhone 6 worth in 2021? $100, $50, not much at all. So, again, I'd say $700. And again, it's been listed for quite a while, over 3 weeks. If the bike doesn't sell in the first few days, the price is just too high. Trek Emonda. I like these Emondas. They go pretty good, pretty easy to service. It is a proprietary seat post, but these seat clamps are easy to get a hold of. It does have BB90 though. Oh, BB90 for most people's no hassles, but for a used bike, if it's been thrashed and used a lot, the play, it can actually destroy the whole bottom bracket structure. The carbon layup can just start to delaminate and get too much play in there, and you basically your bottom bracket's always going to be loose. So that's the only issue I don't like with the Trek Emonda. Otherwise, it's a fantastic riding bike. This one's a looks to be in very good condition. Yeah, so 58 centimeter, $1,700. It's got the Ultegra on there. No, so I got the Shimano 105, 5800. It ain't going to get 17. It's probably going to get $1,000 or less. But very nice bike. It's got direct mount brakes and it's the SL frame series. I'm going to say, yeah, $1,000-ish or less. But a very nice bike to ride. BB90. What was Trek thinking? We've got another Trek Emonda SLR. This one here. This is the SLR, bit of lightweight version. Again, Di2 Dura Ace 9070 group set. Was 3.8. It's not going to sell. This would be a killer bike to ride. It's got some really stock, cheap model, heavy. They're okay giant wheels on there. It's got the full Dura Ace group set otherwise, except for the Bontrager brakes, which aren't too bad. This is a nice bike. Again, this is like a $12,000 bike back in its day with some better wheels on there. But yeah, this would be a very nice riding bike. 3.6, is that a fair price? I mean, you're not going to get anything brand new for 3.6 that's going to ride as good as this, really, are you? In 2021, everything's disc brakes and aero and super heavy and clunky and hard to work on. But so it is a very fair price. But unfortunately, if you're going to spend $3,500 on a bicycle, you're probably going to go to a bike shop, and you're probably a noob, and you think, oh, disc brakes are better, and oh, Vim brakes is cheap and nasty, and so these killer bikes are just getting totally bypassed. So I find it super interesting how the market's going right now, that the best bikes out there just won't sell for what they're worth in terms of riding performance, because the market value of them is just so low now. People are like, oh, why would I pay $3,000, $3,500 for a used bike when I get something brand new with warranty, etc. And that's a fair thing, but the bike these days for $3,500, disc brakes, it won't ride as nice as this Trek Emonda SLR with the Dura Ace group set. This would be a sick-ass bike with some lighter 1,500 or less wheels, some wind space Hyper 38s in there. Sick-ass bike. Will it get for 3.6? I don't think it will. Is it a fair price? Performance-wise, 100%, but market value, I'm going to be thinking like $2,000 maybe. $2,000, $2,500, $2,000. What would I pay for it? Would I buy it for $2,000? It's a size 52, so I can't ride it. Maybe I'd do it for $2,000 and try and flip it. But again, it's hard to sell non-disc group sets these days for what they're really worth. This is a killer deal. This is an old BMC SLC 01, a Floyd Landis bike. Almost said Flanders. It's got full Campag record on there. It's $450. Definitely check for the Ring of Death on here. These forks are tapered, I think 1 to 1.5 pitties, get spares, but it's cooked. It hasn't been ridden much. It's a female owner, but this saddle, not many women would want to ride that saddle, so I dare say this bike hasn't done much mileage. It's just been washed down with a hose. The chainring's been replaced. It's in pretty good condition. That record Dura doesn't have any scratches on it. It's, that housing's very, very old and dirty, which means it just hasn't been replaced or much use at all. Those fulcrums look pretty good condition. They're not stock. Looks like a stock group set, 3T stem, bars, etc. Rim tape. It's got heaps of life left. It's been old. This rim tape's been on this bike for probably a decade or more. What's going on with this front wheel? Maybe the front wheel's flat. It hasn't been ridden much. The hoods look original, a bit worn. This bike looks to be in, fairly worn condition, but still good enough to justify purchase. At $450, that's a very, very, very fair price. This is a fantastic riding bike. It's got some dirty dirt on top, which the average road cyclist will probably vomit over, but for me, I wouldn't care. Very nice bike. Would I buy it? I probably would buy this one. This is a sick deal. And if this doesn't sell in the next hour, I'd be surprised. That's a killer bike. Top shelf frame, top shelf componentry. Give it a good service and a fork inspection, and you got yourself a Tour de France level quality bike for $450, and they're probably going to be negotiable. She might even say, just give me $250 and get out of my face. Like, who knows? That's a good deal. Next up, we've got a Specialized Tarmac SL4, one of my favorite Specialized bikes. This one's Di2 Ultegra, 10-speed, very good condition. There's no Q factor rub on here. The chainrings look mint. Everything looks mint. The pedals, the stickers still on there. There's just like, a bit of bar tape wear, just like stock bar tape. This bike has not much use at all. Doesn't look like it's been crashed, dropped, or thrashed much at all. No scratches there. I'd still check for Ring of Death. And rims, heaps left. There's not much scratches on the derailleur, so that's pretty good condition. Someone's trying to message me. It is very, very good. is very, very good. It comes with a spare stem. So 2,100, it ain't gonna sell, but this definitely 100% as an owner of two SL7 S-Works bikes, this $2,000 secondhand SL4 would cream all over the SL7s, destroy the SL7 in every regard, from serviceability to ride quality to weight, performance, climbing, descending, etc., stiffness. This SL4 is a race bike. The SL7 is not a race bike, it's a gravel bike, comfort bike, ridden by racers in the World Tour for marketing reasons. This SL4 is a performance bike. The SL7 is a comfort bike. Big difference. This is a killer bike. 2-1. I was probably going to sell for $1,000. Next up, we got a Specialized Venge 56 centimeter, and we've got 2.3. It ain't going to sell for 2.3. You know, again, it's got some decent wheels on there. It looks like a bit more used though. It's got SRAM Red 10, which is a great group set. It looks like maybe it's an X-Racers bike because it's been slammed and the stem's been flipped. So I'd want to check that fork for any damage under there. Check for any cracks, which is going to be pretty easy with a black frame like that. 2.3, I ain't going to get 2.3 for that at all. You know, this bike's going to sell for maybe $1,000. Maybe $1,000. But yeah, nice bike. These ride better than the current SL7 for sure. 100% for sure. This we have here is a BMC SLR 01 2013, small like a 2011, and it's 2.5. It ain't going to sell for 2.5. Fantastic bike. But again, we saw before the other BMC $450. So why would you spend an extra $2,000, 2,000 Aussie clams to get this when you can get the other one for $450? You know what I mean? Like, the deals are out there. So don't tell me, oh, there's no deals where I live. I'm just showing you right now. This one's $2,500. The other one, which is going to ride the same pretty much, is $450. All right. So this one isn't going to sell for $2,500 ever, and the other one for $450 could probably sell today. And we've got another Tarmac here, $1,800. It's you know, it ain't going to sell for $1,800. Got the Fulcrum Racing Zeros on there, look pretty good. Again, check for Ring of Death. It looks to be some little bit of a crack here on this head tube. That is a bit questionable. That raises some concerns. I can see a crack on the head tube. It could be a paint crack, but it looks a little bit sus. They don't generally paint crack like that. It looks like it could have had a front end impact. Maybe it's on top of the car, the roof rack. Someone's gone into the garage door, given it a bit of a tap, and maybe got an insurance claim, and then now they're trying to get $800 for their bike. I'm just speculating here. I'm just saying. But that to me, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but it looks like there's a bit of a crack in that head tube there, which is not the place you really want to have a head tube crack, a crack on your bike in that area there. Next up, we have a Cannondale Super 6 high mod, $2,500, still won't sell. Kick-ass bike, better than the 2021. Pretty much all these bikes here I'm showing you are better than the current bikes which sell for 10, 12, 15 grand, etc. Cannondale Super 6 Evo high mod, 52cm Stanges power meter, got the Cannondale SISL2 cranks on there, the Spider chainrings, the Dura C35 wheel on there, nice wheel, easy to rebuild. This is a killer bike. It's got a little scratch in there. That's going to lose a lot of points for resale. It's got a bit of buffing on the side there. That's going to lose. People who wear Rafa, not going to like that. You know, the Rafa crew ain't going to like that. They like the Cannondale, but if it's got any scratches in there, scratchy, it's like, bye, I don't want it. But fantastic bike, $2,500. It won't sell for that. It's probably going to more get like 1,000 to 1,200. But a very 2009 Specialized Comp Roubaix, $1,100, still won't sell. These bikes ride nice, much better than the current Roubaix, which is an absolute heavy tank gravel bike commuter, which is fine. But this Roubaix was a race bike. The SL2, the SL3, and SL4 ride nice. This one looks in mint condition. It does look in very good condition. Hasn't been ridden much. This would be a great bike for someone starting out riding who wants a top shelf bike. You could change the wheels out, and you got yourself a killer bike for $1,000. But again, you could put offer them $500 in a nice way, you know, and you'll probably get it for $500. Who knows? It's had one owner, etc. It's, you know, first to see will buy, not for $1,100. So, but it's a fantastic bike. Alan Davis, Tour Down Under. I remember riding with Alan Davis in 2009, and when he was riding this exact bike. This is on sale for $2,500. They tried to get $4,000 for it, dreaming. This bike would probably go for about $1,000 to $1,500. It's ex-race bike, which means it's going to be thrashed. Albie Davis was a gun rider, so this bike is going to be, well used. He's all tanned up. I remember that day. So yeah, I'm going to say that this bike is a nice bike to ride, but yeah, well thrashed, spare bike, race bike. You want to drop the fork out, check for ring of death, etc. But a very nice riding bike. I do have one of these SL2s. I've actually got the exact same bike, building up at the moment, and they're a sick bike for $2,500. It's definitely better than SL7 without question, but I'm thinking maybe $1,000 to $1,500 for this bike. $1,500, mate.